The sun dipped low over the Whispering Pines subdivision, casting long shadows across manicured lawns and identical beige houses. I stood on my porch, coffee mug in hand, staring at the envelope that had just arrived in the mail. It was thick, official looking, with the HOA's emblem stamped in gold foil. My heart sank a little, but I shook it off. This was my dream home, a quirky flag lot tucked away from the cookie-cutter conformity of the neighborhood. I'd bought it precisely because it wasn't part of any homeowners association. No rules about fence heights or holiday lights, just freedom. Also, I thought, my name's Alex Rivera, and I'm a freelance graphic designer with a side gig in carpentry. Nothing fancy, but it pays the bills and lets me tinker in my workshop. The house was a steel 2 bedrooms, a spacious yard with an ancient oak tree that whispered secrets in the wind, and a narrow driveway that snaked past the subdivision like a rebellious streak. I double-checked everything before closing. The county records, the deed, the title search. 0 HOA involvement. But as I tore open that envelope, a knot formed in my stomach. Inside was a welcome packet, glossy and full of promises about community harmony and enhanced property values. Tucked at the back, an invoice for $12,500. Back dues, initiation fees, penalties. What the hell? I chuckled at first, thinking it was a mix-up. Maybe the previous owner had some lingering ties. I fired off a polite email to the HOA board. Hi, this must be a mistake. My property at 47 Oak Lane isn't part of Whispering Pines. Please remove me from your mailing list. Simple, right? Days turned into weeks with no reply. The newsletters kept coming, tips on lawn care, reminders about holiday decor guidelines. I tossed them in the recycling, figuring ignorance was bliss. Then the violations started. First, a notice about my trash can being visible from the street. Fine $50. I moved it behind the garage, even though my lot wasn't visible from most angles. Next came the big one. My work truck parked in the driveway. Commercial vehicles prohibited. Another 100 ding. I attended my first, and what I hoped would be last, HOA meeting at the community center. It was a sea of khakis and judgmental stares. Brenda Hargrove, the board president, sat at the head like a queen on her throne. She was in her 50s, impeccably dressed, with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Ms. Hargrove, I said, holding up my deed. My property isn't in the HOA. I've got the documents right here. She glanced at them dismissively. Honey, that was before the expansion clause 5 years ago. We voted to include adjacent lots like yours for the greater good. I asked for proof, a copy of the clause, minutes from the vote. Nothing, just her insistence. If we're billing you, you're in. The room murmured agreement and I left fuming. This wasn't a mix-up, it was a shakedown. The fines escalated like a bad snowball fight. Grass too long or 75, garden beds knocked you 100, mailbox the wrong shade of black. Your point is noted. Even my outdoor furniture got dinged for being unsightly. I documented everything, photos, dates, copies of notices. One afternoon, I came home to a tow truck backing into my driveway, hooks ready for my truck. Whoa, what are you doing? I yelled, blocking the path with my car. The driver shrugged at your order. On paid fines, I called the cops, explaining it as attempted auto theft. The officer arrived, took one look at my deed, and told the driver to scram. But the damage was done, my blood was boiling. Then came the certified letter that pushed me over the edge. An 8,000 lien on my property for accumulated dues and penalties. It threatened credit damage, mortgage issues, even a forced sale if unpaid. Harassment. This was extortion. I couldn't sleep that night, pacing under the oak tree, its branches creaking like they were laughing at my predicament. Why me? Why now? I dug deeper online, reading horror stories about rogue fays. Turns out Whispering Pines had a reputation, lawsuits, complaints, even a Reddit thread calling Brenda the Iron Lady of Suburbia. I needed help. My first lawyer, a general practitioner, suggested paying up to avoid hassle. HOAs have power, he said. No way. I found Mr. Elias Wolf, a real estate specialist with a shark's grin and a track record against bully boards. This smells like fraud, he said after reviewing my files. Let's investigate. What we uncovered was a cesspool. The expansion vote Brenda told it had failed, only 58% approval short of the required 2/3. But she'd forged ahead, billing 15 non-member properties like mine to bail out the HOA's sinking finances. Digging into their records, supponed later, we found the root, a 40,000 loss to a shady contractor who'd botched a decorative fountain in the common area and skipped town. Brenda had hidden the debacle, using illegal annexations to generate cash. Embezzlement whispers surfaced too, her administrative salary, personal spades charged to the HOA fund. Wolf sent a demand letter, remove the lion or face court. Brenda's response, a snarky email calling our evidence minor technicalities and threatening more penalties. We sued, a 43-page beast alleging fraud, harassment, slander of title, emotional distress. Discovery was gold, emails showing Brenda knew my lot wasn't annexed but billed anyway, to teach outsiders a lesson. In deposition she cracked, admitting the vote failure but claiming executive authority. The other board members, clueless puppets. Judge Elena Martinez, a no-nonsense veteran, granted summary judgment. Liens voided.
As we move forward,
Refunds
it's
ordered
crucial
for all
that we
victims.
align our
HO
strategies
footing
with the
our
latest market
15,000 in
data to
fees.
ensure
She even
sustained
referred
growth.
Brenda for criminal charges. Filing false liens is a felony in our state. The settlement hit 48,000. I used mine to slash my mortgage, plant a victory garden, and install a massive granite marker at my property line. No TME BRB to RDR. The EOA imploded. Members ousted the board. The new one issued apologies, and an audit exposed Brenda's theft. She fled town amid divorce rumors owing restitution. Me, I sipped coffee under that oak, watching the subdivision scurry like ants. Freedom tastes sweet when you fought for it. But wait, that's just the surface. Let me take you back to the beginning, flesh it out like the nightmare it was. It all started on a crisp autumn morning in 2024. I just closed on the house after months of hunting. My realtor, Sarah, had beamed as she handed over the keys. Alex, this is perfect for you. No HOA nonsense, just you, your tools, and that gorgeous oak. I moved in with minimal fanfare, boxes of art supplies, my beat-up Ford truck loaded with lumber, and dreams of turning the garage into a studio. The flag lot meant privacy. The narrow access strip shielded me from the Whispering Pines eyesores. Those uniform mailboxes, the identical shrubs, the no soliciting signs everywhere. The first newsletter arrived a week later. Welcome to Whispering Pines. It chirped. I skimmed it, noting pool hours and picnic schedules. Cute, but irrelevant. Then the invoice, a 200 monthly dues, retroactive 6 months plus fees, 2,500 total. I laughed it off as a clerical error. My email to info@whisperingpine.org was courteous, attaching my deed. No bounce back, no auto reply. Silence. 2 weeks passed. Another notice violation, refused container visibility. My trash can tucked by the garage. Apparently offended someone driving by. Fine enclosed. I complied, but curiosity piqued. I drove around the subdivision. Houses gleamed, but whispers of discontent floated. Overheard at the local coffee shop. Brenda's raising dues again. That fountain fiasco cleaned us out. Fountain. I shrugged it off. The truck violation hit next. Commercial vehicles must be garaged. My truck wasn't flashy, just tools in the bed. I emailed again. Please confirm my exemption. Still nothing. I decided to confront them at the meeting. The community center smelled of stale coffee and entitlement. About 30 residents attended, mostly retirees. Brenda presided, gavel in hand. Next item, new member integrations. She eyed me as I approached the mic. I'm Alex Rivera from 47 Oak Lane. I believe there's a mistake. My property isn't in the HOA. Murmurs. Brenda's smile tightened. Mr. Rivera, our records show otherwise due to the 2019 expansion. Pay up or face consequences. I pressed for details. What expansion? My title is clear. She waved it away. Board business. Next. Frustrated, I left fines poured in weekly. I started a bindered harassment log. Photos of my too long grass, it was mowed. The unkempt gardens, heirloom tomatoes, for God's sake. The mailbox, it was charcoal gray. They wanted ebony black. Petty. Then the outdoor chairs, non-conforming patio furniture. The 150. I was out 475 already and climbing.
Please
the tow
hurry.
truck incident was the wake-up call. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I'd been designing
Are you
logos
sure
when
we
the
should
rumble shook
proceed
my
with this
windows.
approach?
Outside,
Yes,
a
I
burly
believe
guy
it's the
in
most
overalls
effective
hooked me
course
a
of
truck.
action.
Hey, that's mine. He flashed a work order. Whispering Pines HOA removal for violations. I blocked him, dialed 911, theft in progress. The cop, Officer Daniels, arrived skeptical but listened. Deed says no HOA. This is private property. The driver unhooked, grumbling. Brenda called later. That was a warning, Mr. Rivera. Pay or else. The lien letter arrived certified, requiring signature. 8,000. Failure to remit will result in foreclosure proceedings. My credit score tanked if reported. Sleep evaded me. Anxiety gnawed. Why target me? Research revealed patterns. Whispering Pines had annexed lots illegally before. Small claims wins for victims, but Brenda persisted. Reddit threads. Avoid WPHOA. Brenda's a tyrant. One post detailed the fountain scammed contractor buddy of hers. Shoddy work. Funds vanished. I consulted lawyers. First guy just joined. Cheaper. Nope. Wolf was different. This is racketeering light, he said, eyes gleaming. We'll bury them. His investigation public records showed the expansion vote failed. Minutes doctored. Possibly. 15 other properties billed similarly. Renters all outsiders. HOA finances red ink from the 40K loss. Brenda's salary, 5K monthly unapproved. Personal charges. Gym memberships, vacations, demand letter sent certified. Brenda's reply, your evidence is laughable. Expect escalation. Wolf filed suit in county court, counts fraud, false billing, harassment, repeated threats, slander of title, line damaging resale, distresses, sleepless nights, therapy bills. Discovery phase, subpoenas flew, emails Brenda to board. Rivera's lot is prime, bill him heavy to cover fountain shortfall. Deposition her under oath, squirming. Did you know the vote failed? It was close enough? Did you annex without authority? For the community, board members flipped. We trusted Brenda. Judge Martinez reviewed. This is egregious. Summary judgment, liens invalid, 10K per victim in damages. HOA pays all costs. Criminal referral false instruments filing. Settlement talks offered 20K. Wolf countered 60K. Landed at 45K after fees. Others got refunds. Post-settlement HOA election ousted Brenda. New board transparent apologetic war reforming. Brenda, indicted, moved to her sisters in Ohio. Divorce papers served. Me, mortgage lighter, garden thriving. That granite marker, a daily reminder. And under the oak, peace reigns. As the dust settled from the lawsuit, I thought the nightmare was over. But revenge, as they say, is a dish best served cold, and mine was just warming up. Let's dive deeper into the aftermath, the twists I didn't see coming, and how I made sure Whispering Pines would never forget the name Alex Rivera. First, the settlement money hit my account like a lottery win. The $25,000 after Wolf's cut, I paid down $15K on the mortgage, splurged on a new bandsaw for the workshop, and donated $1K to a local legal aid fund for HOA victims. The rest, savings for a rainy day. But the real satisfaction came from watching the HOA crumble from afar. The new board's first act was a town hall. I attended not as a member, but as a spectator with popcorn metaphorically. The room buzzed with anger. Where's our money? Brenda stole from us. The audit revealed horrors. The $120K in personal expenses, Brenda's business trips to Vegas, supplies that were designer handbags, the fountain. Contractor was her nephew, kickbacks suspected. Members demanded refunds. Dues dropped 20%. Apologies flowed, a letter to me, published in their newsletter. We regret the harassment inflicted on Mr. Rivera and others. But Brenda wasn't done haunting me. Weeks after she fled, I got anonymous calls, heavy breathing, hang-ups. Then a package of dead flowers with a note, "You'll regret this." Postmarked Ohio. I reported it to police. They traced it to her. Stalking charges added to her felony. Her divorce, messy. Husband testified she drained joint accounts for OA emergencies. She ended up in a dingy apartment, working retail, a far cry from her queen bee days. Meanwhile, my life bloomed. The victory garden. Tomatoes the size of softballs, herbs scenting the air. Neighbors from the subdivision started waving. Some even asked for advice on fighting the old regime. One, Mrs. Patel from next door, brought samosas. You inspired us to vote them out. I hosted informal barbecues under the oak, inviting the exiles. Those 15 build properties. Stories shared, a farmer fined for his barn color, a renter threatened with eviction. We formed a loose alliance, Free Lots United, to monitor HOAs county-wide. But let's rewind to the lawsuit's gritty details, because that's where the real drama unfolded. Wolf's office was a war room, files stacked, whiteboards scrawled with timelines. "We need witnesses," he said. I reached out to the other victims. Tom, the farmer, they leaned my tractor. Lisa, the renter, threatened my landlord. We built a class action angle, amplifying the suit. Court day tense. Brenda in a power suit, smirking. Wolf opened. "This isn't governance, it's gangsterism." Evidence parade, failed vote minutes, obtained via FOO, billing spreadsheets showing targeted non-members, emails admitting fraud. Brenda's testimony. I acted in good faith. Wolf belying, objections flew. Judge Martinez overruled. Answer. She crumbled, tears fakely flowing. Post-judgment, media picked it up. Local news. HOA horror resident fights back, wins big. I did interviews anonymously at first, then full face, stand up to bullies. Online, the Reddit thread exploded. Thousands of upvotes. Similar stories flooding in. I became a minor hero in anti-HOA circles. The granite marker, custom engraved, 3 feet tall, lit at night. A tried to compleosaur, but Wolf shut them down. Court protected speech. Now it's a landmark. Tourists snap photos. Years later as well, by 2025, Whispering Pines reformed. Voluntary dues, no expansions. Me still freelancing, truck and driveway, trash can wherever. The oak tree, my silent witness. Freedom isn't given, it's seized. And regret. That's for the HOAs of the world. Wait, but to truly appreciate the saga, let's expand on the early days, the psychological toll, the small victories that built to triumph. Moving in was euphoric. Unpacking under the oak, birds chirping, no nosy neighbors. But the first newsletter shattered that. Glossy paper, photos of smiling families at OA events. Join us, it urged. In voice shock, I stared at the numbers. The 1,200 back dues, 800 initiation, 500 penalties. Absurd, I muttered. Email sent, no reply. I called the number, voicemail full. Violations trickled, then torrented. Trash can moved it, but resentment brewed. Truck, I parked it in the garage, cramping my space. Grass, hired a kid to mow weekly. Garden trimmed obsessively. Mailbox
This evidence
repainted.
changes everything.
Furniture
We need to
stored.
reassess
Compliance
our
cost time,
details
money,
again.
sanity.
I'm sure we
Meeting
haven't looked
aftermath, I
anything
researched
critical.
Brenda. LinkedIn. But
The
digs
liens are
revealed
hereby
complaints.
declared void.
Previous HOA ousted for similar tactics. She was a serial offender.
The
Tow
liens
truck,
are declared
adrenaline surged.
void.
Blocking it,
Thank you, Your
heart-pounding.
Honor.
Cops
We
arrival.
appreciate the ruling.
Relief. Brenda's call, "You'll pay for this." Threat logged. Leon letter, panic attack. Visions of losing the house. Therapy started, 100 session added to damages claim. Lawyer hunt first dud. Wolf, let's make them bleed. Investigation montages, late nights poring over records. Discovery jackpot. Suit filing, media buzz began. Deposition, Brenda's arrogance cracked. Judgment Day, victory high five, settlement champagne non-alcoholic for meat. Aftermath pranks, the marker was my masterpiece. Dead flowers incident creepy, but empowering to report. Community building. Barbecues became tradition, stories bonded us. By December 2025, reflecting the Tyler HOA sends me threats and dues notices. I sue for harassment and make them regret it. Captures it perfectly, a tale of resilience, justice, and sweet, sweet payback. Part 2 begin, expanding to full 5K with deeper narratives. Now, let's peel back more layers. The psychological warfare didn't stop at fines, it infiltrated my daily life. Nights of insomnia, dreaming of auctions where my home sold for pennies. Friends notice, Alex, you look stressed. I confided, they rallied. One, a journalist, leaked tips to papers. The other victims' stories enriched the suit. Tom, they claimed my farm was blight, fought back with zoning laws. Lisa, eviction threats over dues I didn't owe. Her landlord joined as plaintiff. We met at coffee shops, plotting like revolutionaries. Wolf's strategy hit him with everything. Added rev of Vince's organized crime vibes. Brenda's emails damning. Squeeze the outsiders first. Courtroom drama. Witnesses testified. Me, the harassment broke me. Tearful, genuine. Brenda defiant, but jury, if it went that far, it didn't, would have hated her. Settlement negotiations, tense Zoom calls. Oh, a lawyer, take a fun K-bar. Wolf, see you in appeals. They caved. Brenda's downfall, indictment hearing. I attended incognito. She pleaded guilty to reduced charges, probation, restitution 20K. My rebirth workshop thriving, design selling. Oak tree planted, bulbs around it, blooming yearly reminder. If you're facing HOA hell, document, lawyer up, fight. Regret is for the tyrants, victory for the free.